So we'll start from where we left off. Um, the last video we had this session, the code with us, and I'll quickly open my NX with me. So here we have this NX. In this video, we will see how to create a chamfer or edge blend from the edge blend, to be honest, edge blend from the existing block, and then how to record a journal. And after recording the journal, we will see how to convert this journal into a sourceful code that we can use. Okay, so here if you see we have this piece of code which creates the block for us. If you don't know how we came to this point is so you can check refer to the last video I guess. It is there in my channel. You can check how we converted a journal to a block code. So I'll uncomment this piece of code, and so this code creates a block, and it creates a block at the origin. It creates at 000, and the length and width, height, all this is 0, 100, 100, 100. All right, so we will see whether this code helps us to create any block. So I'll build it to see whether is there any we can use this code. It throws a error, says the local okay, so it means it tries, it looks for this, and the session, it cannot be used because we created it. Okay, so here if you see, you should also know how to read the code and understand and try to debug it. Sometimes you may also get into problems like this. So here it says you define this NXOpen here, but you are already using it here. Yeah, but we used it because we wrote all this code in one function, and this piece of code which is commented, for this we used it. Either we can comment this will also work, but for now, yeah, we'll comment it. But the better way of writing code is to move this to a separate function, and move this piece of code to a separate function. But we will do it during this end of this video. So now with the error gone, we'll build it again. It says it got created. I, I select this place, and then the path of this DLL. I'll go back to NX, and let me try running this. I pasted it and then the tool. So if you see, it created a block for us. So it created a block. The length, height, and the width is 100, 100, 100. And if you see here, it's got created on the 0, 0th location. How I can find this? You can click on this button. That tells you what is the coordinates of this point. Then so this is created as we expected. Now we will first see how we can create a edge blend, and then manually, and then we'll see how to record a journal. I already created a video how to record a journal, so that would be much more faster. The second part, and the third part would be how to make that code to read that code and use it uh, for our own purpose. So here if you see, I'll go back to my NX, and then if you see to create a edge blend, it should be there in design feature, design detail feature. So insert detail feature, and then I click on edge blend. Now if you see, there is there are three values that we are going to provide. Four. By default, it selects what type of tangent you are going to use. So these values will be coming from the user. The user will say, or your customer. Your customer will say, I want to create an edge blend on certain edge. And using that edge, uh, we want to using that edge, we want to create the blend is what they say, and what kind of blend it is, and what is the radius of this blend. So in this case, let's say the radius is 15, and the continuity is G1, and the edge need to be every edge, for example. So we need to collect all the edge from the block, and then from this block we are going to create edge blend. So if you see, the edge blend got created with the value that we got record, and then if you click OK, the edges got created, the blend got created. I'll delete it. I'm right clicking here and then clicking on a button called delete. So now it's got deleted. So the first part is to see how we can create it manually, and in the manual step, we you need to know what are the inputs that we provide. So it's in this detail feature. We provided four. One is by default it's set to G1. Yes, we need to set this value, and we selected the edge. Yeah, and then we need to say what kind of an shape it is and the radius. So but we can also set lots of other values. But for now, if that is a part of a requirement, then you need to dig deeper on that side. But to be easier, we'll leave it as it is. If we change the value, the those value will also get recorded. So let's say you want to add one more variable thickness or variable radius into the edge or the edge blend, then you can do that as well. But if that is a requirement, then you need to select provide the value here, record the journal, and then read the journal again to see how we can convert this code. Okay, for now we'll make it simple. We'll say we selected the edge and then we click OK to create it. Now we'll do the same, but this time we will record a journal. So to record a journal, I already explained you how to record a journal, and it's inside tools, journal, and then record. It gives a usual nominal prompt. Say what you want, where you want to. Say here I'm going to select where I'm going to create this journal. I'm selecting the path. I'm providing a name. I clicked OK. So now it says there is a channel because I want to overwrite it. I click OK. Now the recording of this channel is happening. So here if I go file, and then we already know that from our last video or the previous video that I created, if there is a symbol here, then it means that recording can happen. So here I click edge blend because we are going to create an edge blend here. So whatever we do in the session will get recorded. So I would suggest not to do um any other things that we don't need. For example, I will for now I will also tell you that after recording the journal. So here I selected, I'm going to say what type it is. It's G1, and then the edge is going to this edge, but let's consider the edges, all the edges over here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click OK. This is the part that exactly what we need from the journal. But the whatever you do here will get recorded in the journal. For example, if you rotate it, now I rotated the part, so that will also get recorded. I zoomed in and zoomed out. So when you do all these things which were not needed for what you want to be in journal, if so, don't do that. If you do it, that will also get recorded. Then it's not so easy for the to segregate the code out of it. I'll quickly stop this journal, and if you want to see what journal is, it's if you go to journal again, and then if you say edit, you will get all the codes that you got. I would suggest you to copy all this and then move it to a separate code reader. So for now, let me open another reader for me. So here, if you say, I'll paste it. If you go to the top of this, what I'm going to do is what we exactly did. We provided four inputs. What are those inputs? We selected the continuity type, we provided the edge, we provided shape and radius. These are the four things that we need. All the other things were not required. So if you scroll down to the edge, and what we did exactly is we created an edge blend, right? So the builder name should be EdgeBlendBuilder. Okay, so if you see, there is some EdgeBlendBuilder, and we were using this code. And at one point I said we are going to commit it, and then we will destroy the builder. So up to here is what exactly we need. Any code that below us we don't need. But I want to show you this. If you remember, I told you not to do any other things except what we need to be recorded. So here if you see, I rotated the part here. I zoomed in to the part. So every time when you zoom in or zoom out of this, it will also record codes to you. Exactly, you don't need this code because if you have this code, you don't know whether you need to use this code or not. So one simple idea is you are going to create a edge builder or any part of your requirement, and at that point your builder, it can be any builder, will get destroyed. After destroying the builder, you don't need any piece of this code most of the time. So quickly I can remove it. I'll select all this unwanted code. I'll remove this piece. Right now it's again we need to simplify the code. We don't need all the uh, undo marks most of the time. So we'll remove the undo marks. If you remember, we provided only four values out of here. So here I'll quickly go through all this because that is, if I explain you each and every step, then it's going to be time consuming. So I will clean this code up and then I'll come back. So I cleaned up this code again. Uh, Here is the clean version of this code, but yes, still we can clean this code. But from here after, I want to explain more things to you. So that's why. So here, if you see, there are code that I cleaned up. I already did some testing as well. So if you want to test it, what I can do is after you clean the code, I copy the code again by pressing Control C, and then here I can go back to the here tools journal and then edit journal. So here if you see, by default it will open the journal that I recorded, and then I can Control A and then paste it, the code that I copied, and then if I play it, it should create a blend the background. If there is any error, the error will be listed here. So if you see it got created, we'll see again whether all our inputs are right. So here the tangent, the connectivities are same. It's also circular. If you want to be conic, then set it to conic and then record a journal. Oh no, while recording the journal, you can set it to conic and then record the journal and then see what changes that makes into the journal and then use that. So now the requirement is to create a blend on all edges. But what we have done here is we've selected only one edge in the uh, part. While creating the edge, I mean edge blend, we selected only one edge. But in NX it allows also us allowed to create multiple selects multiple edge. You can select all the edge here and create the same edge blend again. If I click OK, it's selected 11 edge over here, and then if I click OK, all the 11 edges are was import, was selected. So why I need to say this is that's why we need some, what we are doing, we are selecting multiple edge here. So there comes selection intent rule. So here we can say NX plays it differently while creating multiple objects, and it has to be same when you create multiple objects, let's say, and you want to create a blend, or you select only one edge and it has to take that edge. So what they did is they mm, made the process in such a way that it should work for both single edge and multiple edge. How that differs, the only difference is that here in this case we selected multiple edge, which means we didn't selected one, we selected multiple. So what does it mean? It means we selected an array of edges, not one edge, right? So either now you can select all the edges and then record a journal and then see, or we can get only one edge out of it and then record a journal and loop through all the edges. That's a different way. But the best practice is to select all the edges. Why? Because if you loop through each of the edge and then create a blend, it creates multiple blend. So let's say you create for you selected one, I'll quickly reset it, and then uh, instead of selecting all the edge, I will select only one edge. So I'm pressing shift in my keyboard and I'm deselecting unwanted edges. So here if you see I'm removing the shift now, and then now I'm selecting one edge and then clicking OK. Here it created one blend. Now I want to create one more blend, let's say, and then here I need to select a different edge, and then I say here it says it selected both the edge because we set the filter to tangent curve. If you set to single and then recreate deselect it, it will, oh, wait, let us do it again. Edge blend single. So here it selected the single edge. So if you click OK, now you see it created two different edge blend. So every time it creates an edge blend when you select a new edge. Now that requirement should come from the customer, whether they may say I want multiple blends. Why we need a multiple blend? They may need this blend for a different downstream application, or they may need this no, or need to be in a feature group, for example. So that comes from the user. But in our case, we'll go through all the edge and we'll create multiple edge blend. Okay, let's consider this as our requirement. So here is our code. I'll copy the code and we'll go back to our NX session and we will paste it here. So here if you see, it throws an error. It says we are using this local variable which is already declared, because if you see we created the session, already created this session again. So I'll comment this line, we don't want this, and again it says you are passing an null feature to here, so don't use the same feature. So instead of, I will comment this. So here instead of passing what I'm doing here, I'm creating one feature and then setting it to null and then passing the feature to this object. Instead I can pass directly the null to the, so when I pass null, I explained this in a previous video where you can pass null to create a new object or get information out of this feature. Then you need to pass the feature directly. You can refer to that video where I explained that thing. Right. Now if you see, we'll still go, we have to do bit more changes in the code. So you see, it's here there is something called find object. So what exactly this does? So most of the time it's a bit complex to understand or complex to read the code instead of understanding. So if you see here, it's looking for something with the name block 5, right? If you see this is a string, it says I'm going to searching for a block 5. So we'll go back to NX and then see is there anything with the name block 5. I'll close this. It says do you want to save? I'll remove this as well. So if you see, it's looking for something called a block file which is over here. So yes, it is there. Now what it's trying from the block, it's from the work part, it's trying to find the feature. Yeah, what feature it's trying to find? It's trying to find the block file. Yes, somehow it found it. Now from the block, it's trying to find edge with some random number which we don't know. These are the code that belongs to NX that that's not exposed to us. So we are not supposed to use this code. Why? Because every time the edge name changes when you close, I explained in the tag video how what is a tag and other stuff. So every time it will not be the same, right? So it can be any, it can be any edge. So if for the next time, if you close the NX and then reopen it, this edge may not be there. This edge may be there. This edge may not be there. So it's sometimes it's not stable code, I would say. So what I would suggest is we don't need to use this. But what it does, we need to know. So why we need to know is so that we can use it for convert it to our code. So here if you see, again it says edge 1. It found this edge and then typecast it to edge 1 and then set it to here. So the ultimate point is at this point, at this line 103. So what it does, it somehow finds some edge from the block or from anywhere and then set that edge to this edge seed edges and then passing to seed edge, finding multiple tangent rule and then setting this value back again. Yeah, there is one more error. we may not need this because of this is already here. We already created it. So what we need to do here now, as I said before, there is a good chance that this edge may not be available in the next session. So we don't know whether it will be there or not. So we cannot able to use this at all. So now we need to send an edge to this zeroth element of this edge. It expects what it if you see here, it's an edge array, and this edge array has one edge, only one edge. So which means you can set only one edge to this. Why it's only one edge? Because in the UI, when we select the edge blend, we selected only one edge while recording the journal. So it will be only one edge. If our edge is, let's say, 5, then we can use that as 5. If the edge is 10, then we can use all the 10 edges. So here, this is what we are going to see, and we are going to change and see whether this helps us to modify this application. All right. So again, we are in Edge. In the next video, I think it's a bit longer. In the next video, I will explain you how to read this, how to get the edges, and then from this edge, how to get the body, and then from the body, how can we get all the edges.